What's going on, guys? Dan with Right Now Powder Coating, and in today's video we're going to be doing some massive heavy cart looking structures. So we're going to show you guys how we plan to do these because they weigh a ton and we don't have any racks that will work for this, and this may not work for you, but we've talked with our customer and this is the best solution we've come up with. So let's get into the video. Alright, so we've got these bars. They're going to be the crossbars that hold our support up. We're going to weld these onto them so that we have a little bit of a space between the ground and the bar so we can get our forklift or pallet jack in there and jack it up. So we've got our Miller-Matic 255. It's a great machine and it makes it look like I almost sort of know what I'm doing. I am not a welder at all, so it's pretty sweet little machine. Alright guys, so part of this got missed somehow or edited out, or I didn't hit record or something, I don't know. But we've got the cart basically put together. We're just using grade 8 bolts to hold it together. We've got all of our holes here, washer, nut, and it goes together pretty slick. Just putting it together with these. This bar is actually meant for the middle, but what we did in the last video, which you'll see at the end, is a smaller item, so we moved the one with the legs up front. I just want to show you guys how quick it is to put together. Basically, it just goes together with the grade 8 bolts. Get yourself a wrench. We like the DeWalt Impact. We actually use this for a lot of our vehicles that we work with. Not a sponsor of the video, but this 20 volt is amazing. I have not had a vehicle get stuck, or I have not had a lug nut get stuck using this bad boy. So just get your wrench on the bottom, get your impact on the top. Cinches it up real quick, makes for nice, easy work. I'll put a link to this in the bottom. We use it all over the shop. Probably one of my favorite tools in here. So we'll get the rest of this buttoned up and we'll start coating some parts. Alright, so you've seen the product and why we created the little cart rig thing the way we did. I'll show you the one that's in the oven because we weren't able to use this for it because our oven's only 6 foot tall, and then when you add the 7 inches that this thing is, it was just too tall to go in the oven. So we kind of had to lay it down in a weird way. But I'll show you what my mindset was on that in a second. But I wanted to show you guys what we're doing here with this really heavy object. So this thing, I was told, weighs about 600 pounds. I don't know, what is that, like 3/4? This tape measure is a big pile. It's an inch, yeah. So, inch thick steel. Obviously, this is going to take a lot of time to heat up in the oven. It's the last thing I'm going to do today just because it's going to take so much time. We've got a timer on our oven, which some people may not believe in using in case it fails and you'd keep cooking, but I think what we're going to be doing a lot of these, I guess, for this company. And once we finally get our times figured out, we'll probably put a timer on the oven and just let it go to that time and then finish out. Because, like I said, the thicker steel, man, that thing's even, that's like 1.5 inches. The thicker steel is going to take a lot more time to heat up. In fact, the parts that, they're actually outside now, the parts that we did, those big huge tables, which is why I built the thing, they're out here. They're just chilling. They don't care about the feet, so we aren't worried about it. They're just going to bolt it to a floor. That's why we're able to use this kind of structure. But you can see this like 1/4 inch or whatever. But that stuff took, I think, almost 2 hours at like 425 in the oven to get all the way up to temperature and then cure. So don't forget, you got to get the part to the temperature, not the oven. So that thing's probably going to take three hours or so. But you got to bill accordingly too, because your oven's tied up for that amount of time. You can't process other parts while it's in there, and that's why this one's waiting until last. So we're going to drop it down. I'm going to try and come in under here and lift it up and then put it on the rack. But first we got to take these bars and move them in, because the base is only 31 and those are at like 32, I think. So we got to move them in a little bit so it's secure. Get employees, they said. It will be fun, they said. I think I probably paid him to do this. Don't have a forklift, that's gonna suck. I'm not gonna lie to that. All right, so this is the rack I was talking about. This is our normal rack. We made it so that these posts are removable. So there's one that goes here, down there, running that way. Same over here, running that way. And then we have two that go across this way. And what that does is allows us to hang some parts, you know, 1, 2, 3 if they're smaller, or a bunch of individual parts that are just like medium size, about the size of my hand. with that don't have a good way to daisy chain them. So the other thing this cart does is it allows us to walk into the middle with all the parts up there and then coat them from the inside and the outside. In this case, we added 2 bars on the bottom just laying there to support the feet back here, and this is the one that's too tall for our oven, so it's actually laying down, and then it's got these pads here because they're going to attach something to the face, so they don't care if there's paint right up there. So we rested it on this bar, and there'll be paint in there, just not where it's touching the bar. And obviously we focused up in there with our gun to try and get the front of that the best we could. But sometimes based on the size of your oven, based on the racks you have, or what you can create or lift, you got to get a little creative. So there's the 600-pound thing. That was outside. It's cold here, so we put it in the oven to heat it up because parts clean better when they're warm. If they're 30 degrees, it's going to be really hard. Obviously, heat, like hot water, helps pull the oils and stuff off a part better than, you know, cold water. So we're going to let that cool down a little bit, hit it with our degreaser, our phosphate, and by the time that's cooled down and ready to go, this one will be back out of the oven.